And we're back to our unresolved and unsolved mysteries. Let's see where we left off. How scientists can catch a killer. In 1982, when Wayne Williams was implicated in the murder of at least 23 children, and autopsy forensic scientists, particularly DNA evidence, was still in its infancy. Today, more and more cases are being solved thanks to modern technology. Jimmy Ray Payne's family breaks down in tears during the funeral. The discovery of fibers at a crime scene is considered valuable, coordinating evidence, and is often used during trials as a means to providing assistance or exclusive between suspects. Whitney and Irving Hopley, to name but a few, were all convicted largely on fiber evidence thanks to their easy transference. Hair too can be readily transferred between people. A simple microscope test can determine basic difference between hairs types. However, if this is inconclusive, a DNA profile can be granted from the hair root. If available, DNA profiling has been a staple tool in forensic science since 1968. An early attempt were very basic, suggesting a re-examination of the forensic evidence in the Williams trial would be highly beneficial. Although DNA may be acquired, it is impossible to test the entire genome, and so a number of valuable regions are chosen, known as short tender repeats. Intentional investigations looked at 4 such regions, but with technology evidence, investigations now examine up to 24. Okay, before I forget, I don't mean any harm or any offense when I talk about these cases. I'm not trying to offend the family. I'm not trying to do anything wrong. Even if I do crafts, it's so that I don't end up having a breakdown, because some of the cases that I've gone over just break my heart. And other times I'm like, well, maybe they want to see something else instead of just me sitting here reading to you all about cases. This means there is less chance of 2 suspects presenting the same profile. Today, even close family members can be separated and clearly identified. The body of 27-year-old Natalie Cater would be discovered a mile downstream. Police stopped a number of drivers crossing the river in those early hours. One of them, Wayne Barman Williams, seemed particularly interesting since after the initial splash, he had turned his Chevrolet station wagon around and doubled back across the bridge. At the police station, he had explained that he had been out and about bright and early in order to audition a young woman, Shirley Johnson, as he was looking for a singer. He was, and he said, a talent scout, DJ, and photographer, among other things. Okay, I can't remember. Oh, the Atlanta child murders re-examined. Yeah. Not my favorite thing to hear about children being murdered at all. Okay. The police let him go, but whoa. Okay. The police let him go, but when all attempts to find Mr. Johnson or any record of her appointment to corroborate his reason for being on the bridge at that time that failed. Mr. Williams instantly became a person of interest. FBI crime profile John E. Douglas agreed that 23-year-old Wayne Williams matched the profile that he had assembled as a round the clock surveillance team was set up, and on 3 June, a search warrant was finally obtained for his house and station wagon. Williams was a strange little man. At 23 years old, still lived with his parents in a suburb of Dixie Hills in Atlanta. I don't think that's really strange. I think it's because no one could afford to live on their own sometimes. I live with my grandparents, my stepdad lives here, and I've known other people who live with their families and they contribute in different ways. I don't find that strange, but I guess it's also because I know, like, getting a house or even an apartment this day and age is a lot harder than you think. I don't know back then if it was as hard. I'm not trying to make excuses for him because I really don't know much about this case. He professed to a talent recreator. His main income seemed to come from photographing crime and accident scenes and selling them on to media outlets. See, I'm not sure back then. There's crime scene photographers now. Now, maybe he should have, tried to become that, but I don't know if that's how that works back in this time period. Okay, from time to time, he would ride along the evening ambulance drivers, but usually Williams would listen in to his shortwave radio in order to monitor police activity, making sure that he was the first at the scene. His educated parents were both teachers, a fact that weighed heavy on college dropout Wayne, who hid his sense of inequality behind a swaggy venue of disdain for fellow residents of Atlanta. He was known in the neighborhood as an... Okay, I don't mean any offense when this says this. I'm just reading the article the way it is written, and to me, this is very rude. And I do not have issues with people that are, this. It's, he was known in the neighborhood as a homosexual. Why is it written like that? Is that just the time period? I am so confused by this. See, I would have put in the LBGTQ plus, or I don't know if gay would have been okay, but this day and age, it's not that big of a deal. In some states it is, and in other people, to me, it's not that big of a deal. I really don't care. I have friends and family members who were when I was younger, and I'm like, cool, whatever. So to me, that's just weird that this is how it's written. Whoever wrote this article, really, is that the way you're supposed to write in an article? If you know, let me know, because I'm really not sure. Or this was just from a really old newspaper clip with a vicious streak. Okay, the vicious streak is the problem, not the being gay part. On closer inspection, investigators discovered that in 1976, oh yeah, okay. So I can't tell if this article was written from an old newspaper, but the time period that this was in, yeah, the disrespect. Three years before the first of the murders, he had been arrested and charged with imprisoning an officer of the law. Wayne Williams was a failure who relied upon his parents to resume him of his self-worth while helping to feed and clothe him. Special Agent John Douglas had developed a profile on the Atlanta child killer, and police were amused at the resemblance to the number one suspect, the murderer. So the profile stated would be living in the area close to his victim and would have been over cross over crossed by his parents. Okay. So my assumption so far is I'm not sure, like, it says they're re-examining it, so I don't know if that means he did it, but also, since it was back in 1976, would they have convicted a black person just for their color and stereotype him before really getting the evidence? Or was there evidence on him? Because I'm not seeing much evidence. He just fits the profile. To me, that's like, oh yeah, we're looking for a red hair with blue eyes. Yeah, okay, that could be anyone. Just because I'm a redhead with blue eyes. And white. Like, I just don't get that part, but I can't say for sure if he did or not because I haven't read the whole thing. And I feel bad for those parents. So, to those parents of those children, I am so sorry that that happened to your children. And I hope that y'all found peace, and I hope that your children have found peace. Okay, we're going to continue part 2 for next week, or whatever part this is.